Hello again everybody, so welcome to another episode of Getting China Ready. So in this episode I want to share a little bit with you about the fundamentals of restructuring yourself to get your program, your product or your service really China ready. And do you know what, a lot of it is fundamentally around psychology. So who is it that you actually want to be helping? Who is it that you want to be selling to? Who is it that you want to be working with? You know, how do they think? What's important to them? What are the motivators? And one of the biggest reasons why most entrepreneurs, most businesses actually fail in China is because they don't really understand who they're selling to. They don't really understand what the drivers and the motivators are for the people who will be getting involved with their services or their programs, or in fact buying their products. So there are some key industries that you can really focus on, and again, you know, humans in general, we have a couple of things in common. So education, we all believe and understand the value of actually getting well educated. There's a positive correlation between more education and higher standard of living. Healthcare, exactly the same. Good correlation between being healthy and having a good standard of life. We also, and this differs a little bit, but we also understand that we all should be looking after the less able sections of our society. So especially when you're looking at retirement ages, you know, I don't think that we actually have it 100% dialed in the UK. I still think we've got a long way to go with how do we look after our elderly. And I do think actually in China there's a much stronger sense of commitment, or not necessarily commitment, but a bigger sense of duty, and playing a more hands-on role. That being said, however, because of the rate of development, because of certain Western influences, the attitude towards how Chinese families actually look after their elderly parents is slightly changing. So retirement homes, for example, is a big growth market at the moment. Technology and innovation is always going to be a big industry. It's always going to be really at the cutting edge, because, as I say, us as human beings, we want to find easier ways of doing the same thing, or we want to find new ways, and we want to, again, if we're looking at business, we want to have more effective ways of engaging, even within relationships, so friends, family, again, colleagues. Social media is really all about connecting with people, and so it's really all about how is it that you can share experiences with more people more often. And so technology and actually biotech at the minute, when you've got a convergence of a couple of different industries, is becoming a really big growth area. So identifying some areas within China and within certain industries that you know you can add value to, it's a fairly good place to start. But when it all boils down, you've really got to understand what the people want. If there is a demand for it, or if you can see that actually the way things are being done now compared to the motivators, or compared to the social structures, maybe what you have or what we're actually doing, for example in the UK, solves a problem they have in a better way than they've currently got access to. So again, in our example, so I've been running the business in China for a good many years. Ours is in the education industry. I'm a strong believer that for true global development, we've really got to look at stronger partnerships and relationships, and you can't really do that unless you have a good understanding of the other people that you're dealing with. So all of our educational programs are really focused around an immersive element of really and truly understanding and connecting with somebody from a different country, language and culture. So within our education programs, we've got one of our biggest ones is basically a sister school arrangement or partnership. So we work with governments around the UK and around China, and then we set up an infrastructure which enables schools to really connect with one another and really engage with one another in a really immersive format. I know for a fact, because of the many years I lived over in China, I actually taught over in China for a couple of years, how much they value education. And as a marketplace, as an industry, it's a massive opportunity for providing value. There is a massive gradient between where we are in the UK and some of the ways that we deliver our education compared to what the Chinese are currently doing. They arguably are getting better results, but what is the sacrifice? Good academic results, potentially not so creatively taught, or restrictive aspects to their ability to innovate, whereas in the UK we might not have the same infrastructure and our academic results might not be the same, but on an individual level, to be able to problem solve and to be able to innovate, we're very much stronger. So trying to find that balance point. Chinese currently are super engaged and excited to kind of get involved in that space. So what we do is we provide that safe platform for students, for staff, and again for government members to actually engage with the purpose of developing education systems. Now, I was able to build that in a very specific way, based around what the Chinese required, but also with a deep understanding of what is required in the UK. And anything that was built before didn't tick any of the boxes required in the level of support. Everybody's busy. People who run schools, they are responsible for hundreds and hundreds, in China often thousands of people. So to be able to support these individuals, you've got to be able to provide a program that they can access, that ticks all the boxes they're looking for, that solves a big problem. You know, is it a must, or is it would like? The more musts, the more definite elements that you can help people on, and things that are going to make tangible difference. The more of those you can build into your program, the better. And the only way you can really do that is understand what are the major challenges. So once you've got the challenges, so in our case, I understood that for a Chinese government body or education bureau, in fact head teachers and staff and students, for them to actually access UK schools and run international programs with them in a way that they need to engage with the UK, but also all the infrastructure of how do you go about setting them up, the time requirements, the legal requirements, how to actually put a program together and run it in England when you are a head teacher or a head of department in China, and the same over in the UK. How is it you are a head teacher of an English school? How on earth are you going to know how to get over to China to find a Chinese partner school, then to be able to run and cost up and to deliver an exchange program or a delegation? There's so many moving parts. It's unrealistic to be able or to expect many head teachers around the country to do that. Now there are some, and I take my hat off to you, they're fantastic, and there are some other organisations. So in our case, you know, the British Council, government body, they had some programs in place to kind of support in the way that they thought would provide enough support over the long term. But again, they only focused on what the UK side needed. They didn't pay very much attention to China. So a lot of the time, 99% of the time, and this applies to every business across all industries, most people only look at the short term. China is all about the long term. It's all about the partnership, the relationship, and the long-term impacts. So you put a program together, or a product, or a service, which only ticks a very short-term box. You go in, you go out, you're not setting yourself up for success. So what we did is we took a model that had some impact and was fairly popular. We rebuilt it in a China-ready format that also fully supported our UK schools and our UK government partners. So basically we do all the heavy lifting for them, but we built it in a way that both the UK could engage with, that China could fully engage with, and it had long-term sustainability. So all of our programs and all of our partnerships that we set up, there's a minimum commitment of 4 years, and that's a minimum commitment from us. It's a promise from us that during these 4 years we will be standing by your side every step of the way, ensuring that you have not only a life-changing experience, but the process and the journey you go on won't be challenging. it won't be overburdened, and we will be there to direct you every step of the way. Now again, it's a big commitment on all parts, but when you are looking at building a product, service or program for the long term, you've really got to figure out where is the lifetime value, where is the ongoing impact, because you're looking to basically take what you've got, which is of value, over to a country that has a different value system. They might see what you have as being good and being interesting and being valuable, but the way that they require it will be different to the way that you're delivering it in any other country. In China, they will want what you have packaged and delivered in a different way. It took me about 18 months to go from, oh, this is the perfect program, to actually what we ended up delivering. During that amount of time, the tweaks and turns and twists, and this is region by region. So we're currently working with 11 regions throughout China this year. Next year we'll be up to about 15. And each region, each city level, each province, they have a slightly different take on how they want it delivered. China is a massive, massive country. It's a massive market and there are lots of people. You should be viewing it as Europe, as the European Union, rather than just one country. Each province in China, it's like its own state, it's its own country really. So each province will have a kind of micro market or a micro community or micro society that they have slightly different requirements themselves. So when you're actually going into China, figuring out the drivers, the motivators, what is of value, what problem you're solving, how are you going to deliver it in a way that they actually want it, and which market you want to go into, which province, which city. Nice fun fact for you, the city of Shanghai has more people in it than the continent of Australia. So if you're thinking about markets, one city is like one country. And if you imagine what people are like in Australia compared to Sweden, there are going to be differences in expectations. So you should think of each province as being a separate country within, a larger state-like nation. So basically, when you're putting your programs together, when you're designing the service or product or program you want to deliver in China, you really got to focus on those key things. Again, we're here to be able to support you on that. And within China already, I'm taking all of the things that I'm still learning today, and every new area that I go to, each new government partner, each new school, and each new partner that we work with in China, I'm learning on the ground lessons about how to do it better. So within our China Ready program, I'm taking all of that along with the network of friends and colleagues who are also running businesses in China, and really crystallizing that in the format which we're going to be able to support you more with. These videos are going to be a great way for you guys to hear and to learn some lessons about getting China ready. But again, if you are really interested and China excites you and you believe you have something of value, then please just reach out to me whenever you can. You'll find the details in the section below. So again, look forward to speaking to you next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Speak soon.